capture that.
And we're going to have this on video too, so that.
Oh, I got it ready. Don't let me forget it when we get back down.
So if you want to put your hands on the controls, you can just follow with me on takeoff.
Okay.
It's right there. It is behind you on top of the way.
Have you had any motion sickness before in your
No.
life? Okay. But just in case, there's a little sack in here. The best answer is if you're not feeling comfortable, make sure Dave knows and he'll smooth it out.
Or what you could do is just open that and go over there. And then land on someone's car or someone's head.
Well, then someone has to go clean that out. Are you volunteering?
Yeah.
No?
I'm not sure.
And what was your first name again, please?
Matt, M-A-T-T.
Okay, Matt. Got any questions before we get ready for takeoff?
No?
Okay. What we're going to do, they're going to hook the rope up here in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put my canopy down and latch it.
I'm going to escort that back.
Okay, I got my canopy down and latched. My windows set.
Good.
Pull the microphone out. Put that back.
Okay. All right. Instruments set. 87 Zulu from 221 Charlie Whiskey radio check. Just checking. Okay, and Charlie Whiskey, light go to the west at 3,000 feet.
Copy, 3,000.
Okay, control. I'm going to be moving the controls now. Make sure they're fair, just like you do in your private pilot training using the rudders. I'm going to be pulling the spoilers out. Make sure they come out fully and at the same distance on both sides. Put them back in and lock them. I got my trim set. The trim is the little green handle down there. I'll go ahead and set that.
Is there an indicator for the trim, or it's just a handle position?
If you look on your right side on that little shelf there, there's right down there.
Oh, all right.
And about midway,
Gotcha.
that's where it should be set.
Yeah, I see a mark for
Okay. And your safety harness, your shoulder harness, and lap belt are secure, correct?
the affirmative.
Okay. Wind is a little bit out of the southwest, so we got it's about 20 degrees off our left there.
Okay.
Windows set and closed. Yours is set. Emergency, if we have a rope break on the ground, we'll disconnect and go to the right and stay on the ground. Below 200 feet, we'll go straight ahead and land in the bean field. Above 200 feet, we'll have enough altitude to return to the runway and land downwind. Safety call will be at 200 feet. Canopy is down and latched. Will you verify canopy for me? Verify canopy down and latched? Okay. Canopy down and latched, good. Secure loose objects, there's none. Rope check. We're good. Rope looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and open the release. You'll see the yellow knob on the left move. Open.
Close.
Close. Okay, and we're ready to go. So he's gonna go over to the wing, and he's gonna signal the tow pilot to take the slack of the rope out. So you'll see him swinging his arms. So he's taking the slack out. We get the slack out and we'll be ready to go. Are you okay?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. So what we're going to do is as he puts the power to it, we'll be rolling along. We'll come off the ground before the tow plane, and we want to stay below 10 feet so we can't pull his tail up. And then he'll come off the ground and start climbing, and then we'll just follow him up to altitude. Okay, he's looking for traffic right now in a pattern, inbound planes, other gliders. There's no other gliders today, so I'm giving him the thumbs up. Okay, here we go. 100 feet. 200 feet. So we always want to keep the tow plane in sight. If you ever lose sight of the tow plane, you release and go right.
Okay.
At altitude, he's going to release and go left. We're going to go right. We're at 400 feet above ground level right now. Heading straight west. About 1,000 feet, we lose around 3.5 degrees of temperature, so it gets cooler as we get to altitude.
My kid wanted some video.
Oh, they want the video?
Yeah.
Well, if you give me your email address when we get back, I'll try to send this to you.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
And that'll be exactly what we're talking about right now. And you'll be able to see it on the, this is a GoPro 360, so it's also,
Nice.
it's recording in front and back here too, so. So we're about halfway to the altitude we're gonna go to. And if you look off to our right out at 2 o'clock where that white water tower is out there,
Yeah.
that's Red Gold tomato processing.
Okay.
If you look off to our left at about 10 o'clock, you'll see a big roof and some silos out there. About
Yeah.
10 o'clock, about 5 miles, that's Kokomo grain.
Okay.
That building there holds about 1 million bushels of corn.
Wow.
And if you look off to our right, out between 1 and 2, you'll see a wind farm out there.
Yeah.
Are you from locally or?
We live in Zionsville.
Oh yeah, I'm from Carmel.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, we're right on the border, right off Main Street.
Oh, okay.
As soon as you cut into Zionsville there,
Uh-huh.
you know, when it turns into 131 turns into Willow, we're right there.
Right. Oh, okay. Okay, we got about another 900 feet to go. And we're going to be... You see that where he got in a downdraft?
Yeah.
We're just 200 feet behind him, so we'll have a tendency to get... We know we got to keep an eye on him, so... So we got another 500 feet to go. I hope we can go up another 500 feet. We can't go in the clouds, so we'll have to see what he can do. So we're 200 feet into release. We want to look for traffic to the right, look for traffic to the tow plane to the left. There's no traffic, and we're just going to go ahead and get off right here.
Okay.
870, thanks for the tow. So we're pretty close to the bottom. I don't like being this close to the bottom of the
Yeah.
path. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on around here.
Drop some elevation.
Yeah. If you look back right off our nose, the airport we took off from. So I got a clearing right here to the left I'm going to take. So we'll go over here to the left. And if you look up at off the nose of the airplane there, about 2 miles, that's where all those silos are.
Yeah.
That's an ethanol plant where they've turned corn into ethanol.
All right.
This is a pretty big, this where that red pond is. I don't know if that's from tomatoes, but it looks like it. That's the Red Gold tomato plant there. So.
Got the tow plane over there.
Yeah, I'm going to turn around here and head south. That's the tow plane that just dropped us off. So, see where the tow plane is right now?
Yep.
That out past him about 5 miles is Anderson Airport.
Okay.
Can you see it in the clearing
Yeah, I
there?
do.
Yeah. So like I said, we're just to the west of the field, about 2.5 to 3 miles. So if you look at the variometer, that's the upper right-hand instrument.
Yep.
See how it's kind of hanging around 0? That means, well, there's a little bit of sink there right now. But we see it do that, go above 0, and then we can start turning and see if we can get some lift from it. That's how my longest flight is 5 hours and 35 minutes.
That's impressive.
And I got up to just short of 10,000 feet, to give you an idea. So we're only down about 300 feet from the altitude we released at. But
Yeah.
it's hard to say if there's going to be any thermals here. We'll just have to, these cumulus clouds here, normally there's lift underneath them. But when they get to be solid like this, it kind of kills some of the lift.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of file around here and look for some lift. We can kind of look at the clouds and see where there might be lift, and then the variometer shows us where there actually is rising air. Right, there's one right in front of us here, this kind of puffy one. We'll kind of come up underneath that and see what we can. We're about 600 feet below that cloud. Just come up here and see if there's anything there. It might not be. I'd like to get at least a half-hour flight for you, but it just depends on what the clouds do for us. Down off at your 1 o'clock position, there's a horse training track there on our right, about a mile out at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Now see this opening here? This is kind of encouraging. You might be able to head to these clouds over here to the left. I'm going to go over that way. Yeah, there we got some lift. Just a little bit though. We'll take it though. So one thing you probably noticed that's not like flying in your powered planes, we use a lot steeper angle of bank. These gliders have real highly efficient wings, high lift wings, so we can bank a lot harder than you normally do in a powered plane. You're 30 degrees of bank to your normal turn in a powered plane. And sometimes we can do 45 to 60. Well, there's not much there. Let's go over this way a little bit. We'll head this direction for a little bit. You're looking more for the lift by looking at the clouds rather than looking at the ground, because the clouds don't pay attention to the ground very much, other than that there's heat rising. There might be some over here on this other north side of the airport, but yeah, I'm normally up here just about, if not every weekend, every other weekend instructing, so
That's not a bad way to spend a weekend.
well, I'm retired, so I love it.
Yeah.
I wish I would have got I've been instructing over 2 years now, and I've had 180 flights already this year.
Wow.
We have a lot of new students in the club now. Getting your private license in a glider is a lot cheaper than powered planes, because, as you know, powered planes have gotten real expensive.
Yeah, they're outrageous.
Yeah, I mean, it just made it almost to where you can't, hard hard to justify affording it.
Yeah, I think when I started it, I was paying 62 an hour wet at a 152. That tells you how long ago it was.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a old story. I started flying in '67.
Wow.
And I belonged to a club, and it was $7.50 an hour wet.
That's awesome.
But gas was only 32 cents
Yeah.
It was only 32 cents a gallon. There we're getting a little thermal. We're actually gaining some altitude here. That's what we want. Yeah, my first club, we had a 150. It wasn't even a 152 at that time. And it was $7 an hour wet. And then I joined the second club, and it was $7.50 an hour wet for the 150s. And I think we had two of them. No, one of them. Then we had two 172s, and they were $8.50 an hour wet.
Wow.
Cherokee 180 was like $10 an hour wet, and the 182 was $12 an hour wet. So
I got a buddy that instructs for a club in Indy there. They have a couple Cirruses and
oh yeah,
182s, and
I've never flown a Cirrus yet. I'd really like to fly one. I'm partners on there's a little experimental out there at the airport.
that RV6.
Yeah, that's my the co-pilot and I are partners in that.
That's awesome. That's a nice plane. I was admiring that when we were down at the other end. I always like the van stuff.
Oh yeah, it's a great flying plane. I fly from I soared at Sheridan Airport.
Okay, so you just head up and fly over.
This morning it took me from the time I took off till the time I landed was 12 minutes. Better than driving, I know that.
Oh yeah, way better than driving. What are you cruising at, about 160?
I have it depends on what power setting, but about 145 to 150, right around in there. That's at 2350 RPM.
Yeah, that's
It's got
nice.
150 horsepower. It's like the engine out of a 172.
So you're burning what, 8.5 an hour?
Probably. Sometimes you get a little better on that. So, you know, if I'm at altitude and lean it out real good, I can get probably 7.5 an hour.
That's nice.
Well, we've gained about 300 feet so far, and we're still in lift, so we'll just take advantage of it here while we're. And then what you can do, normally if I'm thermaling to the left, turning to the left, and I see another glider out there and he's already thermaling, then I join in the same thermal, but I got to turn the same direction that he's turning.
Yeah.
And if I come in underneath him and then I start climbing better than him, then I want to go farther outside of him to go through his altitude. You want to fly it for a little bit? Sure. Put your feet on the rudders, grab the stick, and just try to hold the speed of 55 knots if you can. That's right where it's at now. Look at that, you didn't forget what you learned.
Been a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's different flying with a stick too than a yoke. Yeah, the fun part is when you start getting in real strong thermal activity and you gain in altitude, get up to 8,000 or 9,000 feet. You're doing fine there. I started flying with this club. I joined this club when I moved down here, and I joined in 2008, so I've been in it a long time.
where are you from originally?
I'm originally, well, I moved down here from Rockford, Illinois. I worked at a nuclear power plant up in Rockford. And then I came down here and worked at a control center in Carmel for the power grid.
Okay.
And then before that, I was from Moline, Illinois. So
All right.
John Deere country.
Yeah. I was trying to get a job at Rockford for a while.
What company were you trying to get one?
UPS.
Oh, UPS?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm an A&P. I work for FedEx in Indy. So.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's cool. Yeah, there's a UPS hub up at Rockford now.
Yeah.
So go ahead and start a turn to the left.
All right.
Keep your speed at 55 in the turn. Gaining a little bit of altitude too, that's good. Yeah, it's well, if you don't have a rating, you can probably get a glider private pilot rating for about around 3,000 total. That's all your tows and the rental of the aircraft and your club dues and all that, about 3,000.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's not. And we have a lot of retired airline captains that fly gliders. One's a retired 777 captain, corporate pilots that fly. Our former chief flight instructor was worked for FedEx out of Indy.
Okay.
He's the retired Navy. He was a Rio on a F-14.
All right. There's some lift.
Yeah, sure is. You're doing good. Got the idea. Look at it. And that yaw string up there, see that?
Yeah.
That shows, that's your turn and bank indicator, basically.
Trying to stay somewhat
Well,
coordinated.
yeah. If you want to, you know, if the yaw string goes to the left, you want to get the yaw string to go to the right. You just push your little right rudder. So, little right rudder right now, and you're getting straightened out. That's making sure that you're not skidding.
Yeah.
You're doing fine though. I think we've been up about 20 minutes so far, so it's been good. When you're flying gliders, you got to always remember where the airport is and how far you are away from the airport.
Yeah.
And just as a rough rule of thumb, on a calm day, you lose 200 to 300 feet per mile traveled. So if you want to get back at pattern altitude, which is 1,900 feet, and you're 3 miles from the airport, you want to be about, you should be at least at 2,900 feet and heading back toward the airport. Because if you don't land at the airport, you got to land out in a field,
Yeah.
a bean field, or a straw field, or hay. If you have to land in corn. I have had to put it in the corn. That was fun. It didn't damage the glider though, so corn was not mature though.
Yeah. I can imagine that would beat up a leading edge pretty good.
Yeah. I was just about a half mile off the end of the runway. I was in real strong sink and I just couldn't make the airport. So.
Definitely light control inputs.
You're doing a really good job. Now straight ahead of us, right, if you look kind of at our 10 o'clock, 11 or 10 o'clock, that's Interstate 69. Can you see the traffic going north and south?
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of traffic goes up that road. So you were working on your private. How far along did you get?
You know, I think I had 56 hours.
Okay.
I was down to some test prep and a couple hours of night flying.
Yeah.
And then I started going to A&P school and just had no time and no money.
No money, right? Isn't that always the way it is?
I should have finished up, but
Yeah.
it's one of those things. I wanted to get into flying for a career, and then I ended up just going the A&P route. And
Yeah. Well, you can see the airport down to our right there.
Yeah. A little slow.
Well, I wish I would have got my instructor. I got it 2 years ago. I wish I'd have done it about 5 years before that. I really like it. I didn't realize I would like it so much as I do. It's fun. It's fun to do, and then I teach other people to do what I like to do,
And you get paid to do what you like to do.
well, I don't get paid.
That's right. It's the club.
When you join the club, you don't have to pay for the instructor.
That's awesome.
You just pay for the tow to altitude, and then the glider is $25 for every hour that you fly it. Most of the time your flights are fairly short, maybe a half hour, so you don't have to pay for the instructor. That's one of the benefits of being in the club. So.
Oh, there's some sink.
Yeah, the thing with Mother Nature is it's constantly changing. So these clouds, even though they look like they're all about the same, sometimes you're under them and there's a lot of lift, and then sometimes there's no lift. You can kind of, after you get used to looking at them, you can kind of get an idea if there's a lift, and then the variometer tells you if there is lift. Look at that lift there.
Yeah.
What you want to do is start circling either right or left, and just try to hold your speed at 55 if you can, or 50 to 55 is fine. And let's go ahead and continue around in your 360-degree turn, and you'll see that once you have gone through your 360-degree turn, you should see that lift that we just saw there. We should re-enter it. We're outside of the main cone of lift, or not cone, but column of lift, and then we should re-enter it. See it there now? Now try to turn to the right. The center might be to the right instead of the left. You really can't tell. Well, that was a rotten idea. A lot of it's just guessing. Just looking at it and trying to figure out where the center of it is. There you are. There you got it. Okay, I have the airplane back.
All right.
I have control. So what we're going to do is we're right now we're a couple thousand feet above pattern out, or just actually not that high above pattern altitude.
Yeah.
So we're just going to head to the west here for a little bit, and we'll make an abbreviated pattern. As you can see, the tow plane is on the north. We take off on the hard surface when we land on the grass.
Okay.
Because it's easier on the tires.
Yeah.
And so we're heading into the wind right now, so it looks like our ground speed's really slow, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then as soon as we turn to the east, you'll see our ground speed will really increase. Because we have, here at altitude today, just about 1,500 feet or so. It seems like the winds aloft are a lot stronger than the surface. If you look to the other end of the airport, you can see the tetrahedron there. See the yellow tetrahedron?
Yeah.
You see it's pointing to the south.
Yeah.
Almost not quite west, about 10, 20 degrees to the southwest. And then what's harder to see is the windsock is on the south end of that long key hanger there. It's orange, but it's really hard to see at altitude. So the tetrahedron really comes into
I see it now.
yeah, oh, you can see that.
Yeah,
You
reflects
see
it.
the reflection off the white roof, yeah. So do you work rotating shifts at FedEx then? Or?
No, I'm at a rare point in my career where I actually get weekends off.
Oh, wow.
I work Monday night through Thursday night.
Oh, okay.
It's
Is that 12 hour or 8 hour?
10 hour.
10 hours? I worked 12 hours at the control center I worked at.
Yeah, I've done 12s, done 3 13s. I like that a lot.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, 4 10s with weekends off is
That's nice.
It's midnights, of course, but
Yeah. Yeah, I either work 5A to 5P or 5P to 5A, and I'd work one set and then I'd rotate into the other. That was the hard part of it, going from days to nights and nights to
Yeah.
days. And you didn't know if you should be sleeping or.
I do that every weekend.
Yeah.
It's old, but the rotating's nice because everybody gets okay
Right.
shit. Everybody gets shit on the same, essentially.
Right.
You know, where I'm at, the junior guys aren't going to see weekends off for a decade.
Yeah. Well, you know, because I worked shift work my whole life, Christmas was when we celebrated it, not
Yeah.
when it was on the day. You know? Alexandria traffic, glider 221 Charlie Whiskey, half mile south, enter in the left downwind for runway 27 Alexandria. Wind direction speed, approach speed is going to be 55 to 60. Got the radio call made, no traffic, aero cockpit, air brake check. Air brakes are unlocked and stowed. Alexandria traffic, 221 Charlie Whiskey, left base, runway 27 Southside Grass, Alexandria. So we're on our left base. Go ahead, just keep it coming around. We're going to land on the Southside Grass. Yeah, every landing in a glider is a dead stick. I started my flying in powered planes, so I really think if I had it to do over, when I started flying at 16, I could have started flying gliders and soloed at 14.
Yeah. That's what I was telling my kid on the way here. Like, you should go up. He's nervous. I think he'd love it, but getting him into it would be...
Oh yeah. Yeah. GoPro, stop recording.